Yo, what's going on, Jose? I see you, my man. Okay. Oh, I wish that was smoother. What's going on, fam? It's your boy, Anthony D. Just getting ready. Hopefully the music ain't too loud. Sound check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. I know I'm a little early. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm on time so I'm not wasting your time. Is that all right? Okay. What are we getting into? Okay. Now let me crank that a little bit. That's not too bad. I have no idea if the background music is too loud. So y'all give me feedback. Y'all let me know if you're hearing feedback because I don't like that. Do I know C++? I do not know C++, Nicholas, on YouTube. I do not know C++. Like I could probably pick it back up again. I did study C in school and I know that there's a difference between C++ and C, but yeah, I'm not doing all that because JavaScript is easier and I can type less lines of code. For me personally. Plus, y'all C++ folks sometimes y'all be tripping, man. It's very opinionated. But what are y'all learning? Y'all doing Rust? Y'all doing what's the other one? Shoot, I can't remember. The other C++ replacement. I know we're trying to get rid of C++. Man. Go, I know the Go is doing its thing. Another alternative. I can respect that. Yeah, I stayed away from C++. I did not want the C++ drama for sure. Are we gonna see Python? Nah, no Python. No Python. Go, that's right. Go Lang. Follow my man Horace on Twitter. I need to find his handle, but he's dope. He's my resident Go expert. So if I ever have a question, I know I can go to him. No pun intended. You're gonna see Python? No, we're not gonna see Python. You want to do Python? That's cool. Python is great for interviews because like JavaScript, you don't have to type a bunch of stuff and it's not strongly typed. So that's nice. Okay. Thank you to Ron. Appreciate you. I'm like, yeah, who wants to do algorithms and data structures on a Thursday night? Who wants to do that? Who wants to rock with the OG on a Thursday night instead of going to the club? Instead of getting in the tub, chilling out. I ain't got no bars to drop today. And don't ask me about that concert, which I heard was wild. My Twitter was just blowing up. I'm sure yours was too. Okay. Cool. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is set and good to go before we jump into this. Coding doc is at anthonydmays.com/links. So if you want to watch the coding and click the links that I have available for you, go check out the link anthonydmays.com/links. Always put my top resources there to make sure it's ready for y'all. So just keep a bookmark at anthonydmays.com/links because you never know when I'm going to drop something that's useful for you. But you can get into the doc with me, watch along as I'm coding. It's just view access, so we'll do it like that. I tried to do a live coding thing. What was it, like a couple of years ago? And I was streaming on LinkedIn, but I was using audio spaces on Twitter. And it didn't quite work the way that I hoped, but still all good. So I want to be able to provide value to y'all. I want you to be able to see what this looks like and hopefully learn a thing or two. So all that. Random LeetCode. Yeah, I thought about doing a random LeetCode. Actually, I would entertain that. Y'all want to send me a random LeetCode problem? Like, fine. Maybe I'll do a random one. I'm just gonna stick with LeetCode easy because not everybody can follow the Medium stuff, and it would take me too long to get through Medium stuff right now. Like, this could be 30 to 45 minutes. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I got some questions that I've worked on previously and just wanted to walk through that for your benefit to hopefully teach you how to navigate this stuff and be able to get to an answer and a solution. So that's the goal. That's the goal. Club LeetCode. We need to talk about what that all means. Because, I get it. LeetCode is a tool that a lot of us are using when we're trying to get ready for interviews. That's all good. I think it's important to distinguish like what we mean by leak coding, because it like we don't even talk about the app really. Like when we talk about leak code, we're talking about data structures, algorithms, big O. Like that's the important part to understand here. So we'll get into that though. I'm just shooting the breeze with y'all for now. What languages do I know? That's a great question. Let me go check out my resume, anthonydmays.com/resume. So if I tap that in, let's see what comes up. I guess I can include that under my resources because sometimes that helps for folks to see what my resume looks like. Let me add that to the stuff. Matter of fact, here's what I'm gonna do. Resume. Cool. So we'll add that to the doc so that if y'all want to check it out, you can check it out and maybe get some ideas about how to make your own resume better. I did have to rip somebody's resume today. I don't apologize. Okay, so here's my resume under other stuff, resources. Let's just take a look real quick. So I do know JavaScript for sure and TypeScript. My resume is old. C#. It's been a while since I've done VB.NET, but I probably could still work in it just fine. They've made it a whole lot more like C# and some of the other kind of Java similar languages. I used to know ABAP. I don't know that one anymore. Python I've worked with. I could be dangerous if I need to, but really, you know, I still feel like I'm a beginner. So I can definitely code and understand some basics of the syntax, but I'm not like deep in it. PHP is how I make my money, y'all. Like both of my websites, WordPress, PHP, Composer, that's how I'm rolling. So I just need y'all to understand that PHP is definitely no slouch of a language for sure. Chrissy Codes, I see you on Twitter. I appreciate you. Let me go ahead and throw this link up like you asked me to so that y'all can follow along. Oh, Tehran already got me. Thank y'all. AnthonyDmays.com/links. That's where we're going. So you don't have to go there. I'm gonna show on the screen for sure, but it is what it is. All right. What else do we got? PHP. Yeah, we talked about that. HTML is a language. Debatable whether it's a programming language. I don't think of it as a programming language. It is a markup language though, for sure. SQL, NoSQL, that's very necessary. If you're a programming, software developer, programmer analyst, software engineer, whatever it is, NoSQL. Even if you don't know how to code, one of the first languages you might want to learn is SQL, because you add a little SQL and that's like magic, baby. Then go ask your boss for a raise. Yeah, so that's basically where I'm at with languages. Hopefully that answers the question. I try to learn as many as I can. I was what is that? Solidity? I can't remember. I think it was that I was learning that for a little bit. But whatever. Rather be here on YouTube. Yeah. I'm streaming right now on YouTube, on Twitter, and on where else? LinkedIn. So you can join me on any of those platforms. You should be getting the same stuff. So, you know, go where it's comfortable for you, for sure. Yeah, Chrissy. Chrissy is my homie for sure. I love seeing her on Twitter, always supporting, and I'm grateful for you, sis. Lawrence, you know, you're my brother from another mother for sure. So grateful, my brother in Christ, for joining me on the stream. Okay, who else do I want to shout out real quick? Jose has been riding with me for a long time. This is my brother on the New York, on the East Coast in New York. I appreciate you. Stinked in for real? What's up, man? What's up with the hatred, Rich? That's unnecessary roughness, bruh. LinkedIn is important. That's how I got my job at Google. Matter of fact, I think that's how I got that's how I've gotten jobs for the last, I don't know, 15 years is through LinkedIn. So yeah, my tech stack is always changing. I go where the money goes. Can I be honest? I go where the money goes. So if you paying me for it, I'm there. No problem. I had to do some C# stuff recently. At least doing some code reviews and got paid for that. So yeah, I'm gonna learn whatever pays. And I would encourage you to do the same thing too, because you ain't gonna catch me out here slipping. That's right, Lawrence. LinkedIn has done me no wrong either. The thing I don't like about these live streams is that I don't get to hear your voice. And I think it's super important for me to hear your voice. So it's a bit of a struggle because I don't just like talking one way. I rely on the chat. I rely on y'all interacting with me. That's just how I roll. I feed off the audience energy for sure, because I want to make sure that I'm helping you, supporting you, all that stuff. I saw a comment earlier today. I am not even a week out from Render ATL. Loved Render ATL. I think it was my the best year yet. Yeah, Jose, yes, Render looked awesome because it was awesome for sure. And it doesn't take a lot for me to get excited about Render. So all my friends show up there. In order to meet the people that I met at Render anywhere else, I'd have to attend like 4 tech conferences for sure. I mean, we're talking about Angie Jones, Lawrence Lockhart, Mark Texan, Kelsey Hightower, right? Kadesha, James Quick. I mean, come on, y'all. To meet all those people in one place is phenomenal and unheard of. And it doesn't happen anywhere else for me. And I go to Afrotech. I've gone to some other conferences for sure. Getting all those people in one room, it just doesn't happen anywhere else but Render, because Render is lit. It's vibes. It's education. It's knowledge. It's truly, I think, the ultimate developer experience. So that's what it is. Yeah, audio event. I want to do an audio event for sure. And any other time, y'all know how I do it. Like, because I'm a software engineer, I'm crazy. So I would be like streaming to 3 different platforms, 2 audio rooms, and in Clubhouse. That's how I do it. Chrissy, I'm laughing. How was Shannon Sharp? I don't know how Shannon Sharp was, because I didn't go for Shannon Sharp. No disrespect to the man. He's great. He's cool. He's doing his thing. But I did not go to Render for Shannon Sharp. I went there for Lawrence Lockhart. That's who I went for. I went for Angie. I went for Mark. I went for folks that I got to meet for the very first time and got to holler at. That's what I went for. So, I can hear Shannon Sharp pretty much anytime. I'm pretty sure he don't care nothing about me or what I'm doing. Maybe y'all reach out to Shannon Sharp and he find out about me and maybe we feel different. But I'm just saying, for me, I'm going for the technical content. I'm going for to connect with other homies in the tech space. My tech heroes are the folks that I want to connect with at Render. That's just me. If you do something different, that's you. But same thing. I went to Afrotech and Issa Rae was there. Shout out to Issa. She's cool. Like that's great. Glad for her accomplishments and all that stuff. Been a game changer in the entertainment industry. But how does that help me make the moves I need to make in the tech scene? And that's not to say that I just need to be connected with tech folks, right? It's just my circle and the stuff that I care about the most is that. And for sure, Kelsey lit it up. My brother from Long Beach. Yeah, I felt like it's gonna be kind of weird because y'all know there was the concert last night with Kendrick and Dre, and I heard E40 was there, and like the whole West Coast. Like, it is what it is. Legendary, obviously, just has rocked the world. But it's funny because like there was West Coast representation at Render. I mean, there was knocking not like us and vibing out to that. So it kind of felt like that was my Kendrick concert, was Render. Kind of weird. I didn't plan on talking about this at all, by the way, but here we are. Yeah, you do have to make it to Render next year for sure. I'm not paid to rep Render at all, not at all, but I appreciate them. I appreciate founder Justin Samuels, the whole team, Brianna, everybody that works on the team. They're dope, and they consistently make quality experiences in the way of tech conferences. So best it's ever been, best to ever do it. I appreciate them, and I want y'all to experience what is the love and inclusiveness and diversity of Render ATL. That's my mind about that. Okay, we about to jump into a coding problem. I want to make sure y'all are all ready to go. Let me check the doc real quick and see if y'all are rolling with me or not. I got tons of resources in the coding doc. Like I said, the plan is to code live for real, and show y'all what it is. So yeah, we're gonna jump into it. Why did I want to do this space? We should talk about that. Or why did I want to live stream this? I wanted to live stream this because I know that a lot of us are having to deal with these data structure algorithms, LeetCode kind of problems in interviews. A lot of people are on the job or on the market looking for their next role. The bar has definitely changed from 4 years ago. I was talking to my homeboy, Taylor Desson, about the difference between where we are right now and where we were back in 2019. I mean, it's just a world apart. Anybody who was in tech in 2019 and have been around for a while, you know, the things just are different. The things that you got to do to get a job now aren't the things you had to do back in 2019. And because of that, we are all having to level up our game as a result, not just because of the economy, but also because of things like the rise of AI and the fact that we've got these tools that are empowering us to do more, faster, better, bigger. So, you know, tech AI isn't going to wipe out software engineers yet. Eventually, that's probably going to be the case, and it won't take as long as you think. But we still here. We're still needed, but the bar has been raised. So the basic economics of supply and demand have changed. We all got to fight a little bit harder. We all got to do a little bit more. So I want this journey to be a little bit easier for you if you're doing this. Let me tell you something right now, though, before we jump into this LeetCode problem. Y'all need to understand that I don't want you to have to do another coding interview in life if I can help it. If I can just take that out of the equation for you, I would rather do that. I would rather that you never have to deal with another LeetCode or HackerRank problem ever again. That's what I'd love for you. And there are some ways that you can minimize the amount of effort and time that you need to spend preparing for that kind of stuff. Okay. And it really comes down to a couple of things. First of all, choose your companies wisely. We all don't need to be working for companies that are dealing in data structures, algorithms, and big O. You can have a happy, productive life, not having to spend 2 months studying this stuff. Okay. Still, you can do that in 2024. Even if you do want to get into companies like that, or you care about data structure and algorithms and big O, which I'm a big proponent of, like, I think that that's stuff that software engineers should learn. I'm a big fan of, like, can I skip an interview at least? Can I show you my skills, and can I demonstrate to you that I can do the job so that we don't have to do these coding tests because you already know what I'm about, right? That's what I want for you. And it's possible, but there's something more important than LeetCode. It's networking. See all the people that's watching the stream with you right now? You should be connecting with them. You should be getting into communities of like-minded individuals who can support you along in the journey, right? So one of the communities that I support and that I'm a champion of is Brilliant Black Minds, by Carrot. It's linked in the document. So if you haven't cracked that open yet, feel free to do that. Let me go put the banner back up so y'all can see it. Crack open the doc, go check it out. And if you're interested, if you're a Black software engineer in the US interested in getting free practice interviews, go sign up today and benefit from that program. Tell them Anthony sent you. But it's dope. And the coding practice is great, but the community is even more important. Okay, so check that out. For those of you who maybe aren't eligible for Brilliant Black Minds, I've also got other resources. Interviewing.io is super popular. Pramp.com is super popular. Or phone a friend and buy them some Starbucks when you're done. Okay, so that's what. Those of y'all who are in BBM, go ahead and shout it out. Let me know. Let's show them some love real quick. I'm about it for everybody, for sure. I want to support everybody that wants to be in tech. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are, what background. Like, if you got the skills, I want to support you. And that's part of the reason why I want to make sure to enable things like this as a free resource to you, so that you can be successful, just generally speaking. Yeah, there's some groups of people that need a little more help, a little more support. I'm all game for that. I'm good with that. And I try to make room. But also, if you're wanting to learn and you wanting to put in the work, I'm willing to rock with you. That's what it is. Okay, cool. I think that I have talked for long enough, but are there any other announcements that I can think of? Got a birthday coming up. Celebrating my birthday this weekend, giving thanks to the Lord for another year of life. So grateful for that. And yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that you know, I'm almost at 10,000 followers on Twitter, which I don't really understand what that means. I don't really. It's a milestone. It feels like something I should celebrate. So there's something I want to do to say thanks to the community and show appreciation for sure. So just look out for that. I don't know what I'll do. I'll at least do a space where we're just talking and chatting about what's good, and you know, just try to you know, just be useful to the community. That's my goal. That's my goal. So I don't really need the numbers. Numbers don't really do anything for me. But what does matter to me is supporting folks who are trying to get into tech and who are trying to succeed in tech. So that's it. If I'm doing that and you are benefiting from the value that I provide, let me know. Even more important than letting me know is being successful. You know, people, they go off and they become successful. They go land top jobs. They don't tell me. Sometimes I reach out and they be like, oh yeah, by the way, I got that job. Thanks for the resources. When I go to conferences, I love when people let me know how I've helped and benefited them. But I'm not mad at all if 2 years later you're just like, yeah, man, you gave me the support and here I am. I'm not mad at that at all. I do want you to be successful, and I want you to help lift the next person up who's coming after you. That's what I want for you. Okay. Anything else? No. Let me just walk through the resources real quickly. So I'm gonna share my screen and then we can jump into a problem. There's a few things that I want to just call to your attention. AnthonyDMays.com/links, or where I've got my top resources ready for you. So you can always get there anytime. Link is in bio on all the platforms, whether it's on TikTok or IG, Twitter, wherever. So if you see a link there, it's going to come right here. So keep that bookmarked and ready to go. I've got a couple of articles on just interview preparation in general. So if you are trying to get better at data structure algorithm in Big O, go check out how to LeetCode correctly, which is on Medium. I put the friend link there so that y'all would all have access. So keep that handy so you ain't got to pay the platform. It's a very important article. You can also find it at morganlatimer.com, by the way. morganlatimer.com. I'll put a banner up for that. But yeah, it's an article that walks you through how to study these problems correctly. And so I want you to use the right process when you're going through a LeetCode problem, a HackerRank problem, or some random problem that you find on the internet. That's what I want you to do. Okay, let's check that out. BigOCheatSheet.com is super important. That's one of the first things that I recommend that noobs learn is go to BigOCheatSheet.com. Matter of fact, let me just show it. Oh, I already have it up on the screen. BigOCheatSheet.com just gives you a high level overview of what Big O is and the different values that you should learn. So I think if you can just lock in this chart, it's going to be helpful. And it's really just understand that Big O of n log n is better than Big O of n squared. Big O of n is better than Big O of n log n. Basically, you want this line to be as flat as possible. Okay, so just remember the different values of Big O and essentially how they work. And then after that, you're going to look at data structures and algorithms. So here's the common data structures. Here are their Big O time complexities. You can see all of that. You know, all the basically heaps and binary trees are going to be Big O of log n for all their stuff. So remember that. And again, Big O is just the column with the stuff that says the worst over here. Okay, that's what you want to lock in. Then you got some sorting algorithms. Go memorize the time and space complexity. Again, worst case, so look for worst. Remember that stuff. It's not that hard to do. Go get some flashcards or something. Super low tech. And yeah, and then as you learn about the data structures and algorithms, you'll understand how they help you to achieve those values of Big O. So always start with Big O, then dive into algorithms and data structures. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Start with Big O and then get into algorithm data structures. But you may say, Anthony, I don't know what Big O is. I don't know how to understand what's going on there. Can you help me out? And I'm like, yes, I got you. Go check out the YouTube video that I did called Grokking Big O. This was actually a presentation that I did at Render 2022. So the whole reason why you have this is because at Render 2022, I gave a presentation on Big O that I designed to be the simplest explanation of Big O ever. So go check out that video, go bookmark it, go watch it. That will help introduce you to Big O and the importance of how it works. I've got samples, I've got guides. We walk through some stuff. I try to just break it down super basic along with some code so that you have that ready to go. Yeah, so go check it out. You don't have an excuse. And if it's still too hard for you, let me know and I'll try to break it down even more. Okay. Just to remind you all, if you want to get to this doc, I'll put the banner up here again, one more time. AnthonyDMays.com/links is where you're going to go. The first button on at links is called Live Coding Doc. So press Live Coding Doc, and that will bring you into the Google Doc that I have here so that you can check out these links and copy them out. How long is this doc going to be alive? Until I feel like taking it down. So it could be up for a couple of days, could be up for a week. I don't know. We'll see. If I detect some shenanigans, then I'll take it down immediately. All right. One more thing. I've got the Google interview reaction video. So some of you have seen the sample Google interview that they put out there. It's a really good example of the kind of interview that you can expect at a big tech company or just at a tech company in general. So if you're doing data structures, algorithms, Big O, go check out the Google coding interview. But I provide a my own reaction to it and just kind of fill you in on why the interview is doing this, why the candidate's doing this, and just really tie all this stuff together. So I want you to check that out and watch it. That one's about 45 minutes, which isn't bad because you're going through a coding problem live. So yeah, for sure. Mitch talked about bringing black minds, talked about the resume. Okay, I think we went through all the other stuff. The last resource that I'll mention, because I talk about this a lot, especially now, is, again, if you want to skip coding interviews, then you got to figure out how to network effectively. You got to figure out how to DM and get in with the hiring managers or recruiters and stuff. And I find that what works really well for me is having a portfolio, gallery, resources, whatever that I can point to. And one of the ways that I demonstrate my own technical competency and my skill as a senior software engineer is through writing, through thought leadership, contributing something to the space. And so I've got this article that I wrote called gRPC versus REST. I did not know most of the stuff in the article until a week before I wrote it. Just to give you an idea, it's not like I'm a brainiac and I know all this stuff. For me, I wanted to talk about this. And so I put in the effort to learn about this and then to articulate my thoughts, because if I can teach somebody else and communicate it effectively, that means I understand it. So you can check out this article and just in the way of an example of like what I do to help show my technical ability and prowess. There's a code sample on my GitHub at github.com/AnthonyDMays. So you can check out that repo, see the code. Y'all better not be calling me a fake. And here's the thing, like, I get nervous when I am online so much without like writing code. Like, I feel like I need to be writing code in public, if nothing else, if for no other reason than just to prove that I still got it. I don't have anything to prove at all. I've been in this game for 22 years. I don't have nothing to prove to you, but it's still nice to know that I can get it done and that I can write code and all that stuff. So I think I do it for me more than for y'all. But if I want to DM a hiring manager and be like, yo, I know stuff, take a look at this article in GitHub repo and know that I can tech at a high level, right? And I can fight with the best of them. So I include that in there because I think it's just a good way to do that. Because I want people to read that article and just be like, oh, we know Anthony got the skills, let's just hire him. Okay. So that's what I want for you, and that's what I want for me, because I'm too old to be going through all these coding interviews, jumping through people's hoops. All right, speaking of hoops, let's get into a coding question. So I got like 3-4 computers around here. I'm just trying to juggle it all. Let's talk about, we'll get into like two questions, maybe 3. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I would love to take your questions and understand like the things that are top of mind for you. But real quick, I saw a question about average time complexity, and we'll talk about average time complexity. And I know I just told you to memorize Big O, worst case time complexity. Excuse me. There are some times when knowing the average time complexity works well. And that's specifically for some sorting algorithms and for hash maps, right? Know the average time complexity for hash maps, because when we say that a hash map is, big O of 1 for accessing elements, it's not actually. It's average time, was that omega of 1? But we pretend like it's big O of 1 because most of the time it acts that way. So know the average for hash maps, but most of the stuff you don't have to worry about average case time complexity. All right, here's the question I want us to deal with, and I'm going to pull this from LeetCode, but here's the deal. I want you to do this question with me. If you want to get the most value out of this, I want you to do this question with me. So go get your own doc, open that up right now, go into your IDE. I'd suggest that you don't go to an IDE. I want you to just write code and be comfortable writing on a napkin if you need to, or on a piece of paper, whatever that is. So, you can do that, but I'd rather you write in like Notepad or WordPad or Docs or something like that. Okay. Hey, it's my jam right here. This is my jam. My son wrote this song. It's called Latte. So I love it. Yeah, most times, Lawrence, you're 100% right. You're not usually getting IntelliSense. Don't count on it for the interview. Don't depend on it when you're practicing. Know your code fast enough, or know your code enough so that you can just make your moves. For me, JavaScript is the easiest language for me to work in because I've been doing it for so many years. That's what I do. Okay, so I don't need IntelliSense in order to write good JavaScript because I just know the language like at the back of my hand. I'm starting to slip a little bit because I don't do it every day like I used to. But you feel me? Like, you just need to know Codatello. But Anthony, on the job, I'm gonna have IntelliSense. I'm gonna have VS Code. Why are you gonna make me interview like this? I totally get that. Totally understand. But you also have to understand that that some companies need you operating at a high level. Like, coding needs to be the easiest part of your job because you need to spend more time understanding requirements, talking through designs, cooperating with other people. If you are spending too much time writing code, you're not doing the best that you can do as a software engineer, because software engineering is just a little bit code, but a lot more problem solving, if that makes sense. So you just need to be able to operate at that. And plus, I was just talking to somebody earlier. My first year at Google was difficult because I had to get used to doing code reviews. And when you're doing code reviews, sometimes you're doing work 2-3 times over because you're still learning the style. You're still learning the APIs and the libraries that are available to you. Sometimes it just happens. And so being able to refactor your code quickly matters. It really does. So I think that's another good case for just knowing your stuff solidly so that you don't have to rely on the helps so much. Okay. Also gives you more flexibility in terms of just being able to use different kinds of IDEs and tools, generally speaking. I'm more of a Vim guy. Okay, let's stop stalling. Let's talk about the question that I'd like for us to deal with. So let's talk about this real quick. You're given an integer array of length n, and there are n vertical lines drawn such that think of it like kind of like a bar chart. Okay, so you in each entry in the array, each element of the array is an integer number that indicates like the height of a bar. And what we want to do is we want to find what 2 bars in our array hold the most amount of water. Okay, holds the most amount of water. So in this case, I know it's kind of tough to describe what I'm saying here. So I want you to listen one more time and see if you can just get this. So take the notes. You're going to be given an array of heights, okay, of bars of varying heights, right? As measured in some integer number, in some integer units. And your job is to write a function that will determine which 2 bars will hold the most water. So an image, I think, will be super helpful here, and I'll paste it into the document. So let's say that we've got something like this. Oh my gosh, why is this tripping? Let me also remember to share my screen so that y'all are not lost. There we go, cool. So suppose you get an array and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Was that 9 bars? Yeah, so there's 9 bars here of 9 different heights. And you can, let's say, hold water between 2 bars. You could hold water between the second and third bar, and that would give you a certain amount of water, right? In this case, if it were between bars 2 and 3, would say that it holds 6 units of water. Okay. But if you look at the second and ninth bar here, you'll see that you can hold way more water, right? Because you have more horizontal space to work with. So I would abstractly think of this as like 9 minus 1 is 8, right? And then 8 times 7, which is the height of the smallest bar, would give us what, 56? Yeah, 56. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at arithmetic, so whatever. So that's how you have that working. So your job is to write a function that determines the I think it's the greatest amount of water. Is that what we're trying to do? Let me go take a look at the problem real quick. Look at the prompt. Where is my mouse? Here it is. So we want to find the 2 lines that together with the x-axis form a container. Okay, so yeah, it is the maximum amount of water. That's what we want. Okay, so we want to turn the maximum. So we don't need to return the 2 bars. We don't need to return their heights. We just need to return the maximum amount of water that can be returned from the 2 bars. Okay. So using a little bit of math here, we're talking about area. We're looking for the greatest area of water, which I know maybe that sounds a little weird, but we're looking for the maximum amount of like area of water, right? We're looking at the height of the bar and how much horizontal space we have. So I know I'm probably doing a terrible job of describing this problem, but hopefully you're following along with me for long enough with this. Again, I want you to resist looking this up on LeetCode. Actually try to articulate the problem and understand what you're being asked to do. Okay, cool. So let's talk about some questions. Some questions that I would have, and this is super important, right? And I would actually at this point start writing some questions out. Questions. What's the minimum, maximum number of I'd say bars I'm gonna get? Okay. I need to know that question. If there is not going to be at least 2 bars, then what do I do if there's only 1 bar? What do I do if there's no bars? Okay. What if I get an empty array? Because I'm going to be getting an empty array. So that's one of the first questions I would ask is, what's the minimum or maximum number of bars I'm getting? In the problem statement does say it's an integer array, so I don't have to ask about the data type of the input, and it's asking for the maximum area. So I already know what the output is going to be. So my assumption is that I'm going to return an integer number. Okay. Now, when we say integer, I need to be specific. I'm going to assume that I'm returning a 32-bit integer. Okay? Because normally in most type programming languages, you've got different sizes for integers. So I'm going to ask like, hey, is it okay if I just return a 32-bit signed integer? The reason why a 32-bit signed integer is also important, I can also do a long, which gives me 64 bits of precision, or 64 bits of size to work with, is that if the bars can get pretty high as integers, if I multiply them together, then I would overflow a 32-bit integer. So I'd probably want to use something bigger. Okay. So I might, in this case, need to return a long if I were doing this in Java, or C# or C++ or something like that. Or hear me out, just do your coding question in JavaScript and Python, and you don't have to worry about data type so much. That's one of the other reasons why I like to interview in JavaScript. Okay. Again, you do you. If you're strongest in Java, go with Java for sure. If you're strongest in C#, go with C# for sure. If you're interviewing for a job and they tell you the language that they want you to know that language. My last job interview I had to do in Ruby. So that's what I studied and prepared for, even though I would have preferred JavaScript, Java, or C#. Okay. So that's just something to know. But because I know how the underlying stuff works, because I know how typed languages work and I know how untyped languages work, I'm comfortable in both of those worlds. So whatever your programming language is, you need to know how that works, but you also need to understand the underlying fundamentals and foundations of data types and stuff, okay? Because that can be useful. So again, I assumed I'm going to return an integer number. I would assume a long to be safe since I'm multiplying integers, but maybe the interviewer will give me some assurance that it'll just be a regular 32-bit integer and I can just roll with that. Okay. Or in Java, there's just the number type. I mean, there's some couple other ones, but for the most part, you're just using the number type. All right. What else? One thing is important. So one observation. I have an observation that the order of the bars matter. Okay. And why does the order of the bars matter? It matters because notice that in this example that I'm looking at on the screen, and y'all should still be able to see it, I hope. When you look at the example, it happens to be that the second bar and the ninth bar are the two tall. Actually, they're not even the two tallest bars. The two tallest bars are in index 1, if I'm zero based. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and index 6. Okay, so at index 1 and index 6, I've got the two tallest bars. But just because those are the two tallest bars doesn't mean that they're going to give me the largest area. One of the things that I do when I am looking at problems like this is I'm thinking about why did they give me this example, right? Why this example? You could have given me any example in the world. Why do we start off with this example? And the reason why I think we start off with this example is in part to show that just because bars are large, like if I just take the two largest bars, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to give me the right answer. So it breaks that notion for me right away. Matter of fact, I would write that down as an observation, right? For an observation is that the answer isn't determined by two largest bars. Okay, so that gets me thinking now, because I could have a really small bar here, and then I could have a bar way out like Barstow, right? That gives me an area that's larger than the combination of bars that are closer. So that's something to keep in mind, right? As I'm thinking about some other examples that help me to think about my assumptions of stuff. Okay, so yeah, that's important. And yeah, Jose, you bring up another point, right? Like, is there a minimum height for the bars? That's a really important thing to ask, because if there can be bars that are 0, then that changes things for me, right? So can there be 0 bars? Okay, or negative for that. Or I should say 0 height bars. 0 height bars. Okay, because if I can have 0 height bars or even negative height bars, that's going to be a game changer for me. Potentially, maybe not. As you can see on the chart, the bars in between bars don't count. Like we don't care about those. So the total area is just determined by the 2 bars that I'm looking at and not by any other bars. So it probably doesn't matter if we've got like 0 height bars. I just probably can't use them for anything. So if I've got a 0 height bar, it's not going to play into the calculation at all, because zero height bars aren't going to be able to hold any water. So it's going to be 0. Okay. But it's an important thing to observe. Thanks, Jose. I appreciate that, because I think that's useful. Is there a possibility for a 3-way tie? Lawrence, I see that you're asking that. And here's the thing, like for this problem, we just need to return the maximum amount of water. So if there's a 3-way tie, we don't care. We just care what the maximum is. So in that case, yeah, let's just go with the maximum that we find. And if there's other combinations that produce the same amount, whatever, we don't care. Yeah, so that's a really good question to ask. But I think it's also answered in the problem statement, because the problem statement says that we want to return the maximum size. Okay, dope. So we're good there. Let me quickly change some things up. Okay. So I like having the background music. Y'all let me know if y'all like the background music. But it sets my mind at ease. You won't have background music for your real interview, but hey, maybe you can figure out a way to work that out anyway. I might. Okay, so I've got some questions laid out. I've got some observations. And I think it might be a good. So one of the other things that I should ask, and I always make a point of talking about this when we're doing technical interviewing, is you should definitely ask, does the input fit in memory? Okay. Right. Does the input fit in memory? That matters a lot. Because if it doesn't fit in memory, that's going to change how I would produce an implementation. 99% of the time, your interviewer is going to start out by saying, you can assume that everything fits in memory. But there are some interviewers that if you get to the bonus round, will ask you, okay, so thanks for solving the problem. Now, what would you do if things didn't fit in memory? And normally you would just talk that out because you probably aren't in a situation to implement a multi-machine, scaling solution. Most people just aren't in that situation in interview, and that'd be a lot of work. So you just need to be able to talk through what you would do. And more often than not, it's just about breaking the problem down into sub problems and solving them independently and then joining the results later on. So you might, in this case, figure out like maybe you would split up the bars based upon like how much would fit in memory, and then have groups of servers that independently compute the maximum size there, and then surface that up. Okay, so that's a possibility. That might not work, but it's just a lot of times that's just what you're doing, is just taking a bigger problem and the solution that works for one machine and just breaking it up so that it works across machines. Okay, so I'm not saying that that's the answer. I'm just saying that that's the way that I think about it when it comes to, hey, maybe the input doesn't fit in memory. All right, y'all hang in with me. Like, I want to make sure that I'm not losing anybody. This is the process. I'm going slow, and I want to make sure that y'all are tracking. But for sure, this is just I'm really slowing this down for y'all benefit so that y'all can see kind of how I'm thinking about stuff in my brain and going through it. All right, what's another question that I could ask? Ooh, I think I want to start with that. So I think it would be good now to figure out the answer to this question. Now I'm doing this from LeetCode. I'm not telling you what the problem is. I can share the link later, but I want to answer the questions. And because LeetCode has answers to questions just there, I don't read those. So normally with LeetCode or HackerRank, they'll have constraints on the page. I don't read those until I've come up with my questions. When I've come up with my questions, then I'll read the constraints. Because remember, y'all, most of your hardest interviews are not going to be done on HackerRank. Most of your difficult interviews are going to be done with another human being. So you need to be prepared to ask questions, clarify assumptions, talk through what you're doing with another human being. If you're just practicing with LeetCode, you're tripping, period. So don't do that. You need to anticipate the fact that you're going to be working with another human being, which means that you need to practice asking good questions, checking your assumptions, and then communicating those things intelligently. Okay. So I don't look at the constraints. I don't look at the hints until I've asked questions and checked my assumptions. I try not to look at the hints at all if I can avoid it. If I do get stuck and I ask more questions and can't seem to come to an answer, then maybe I'll look at a hint. But I forget that the hint section is there, and I'm not even looking for it. So again, don't rush into looking at the constraints. Don't expect someone just to give you the constraints outright. Okay. I don't even, when I give a coding question as an interviewer, I don't even tell the candidate what the data type is that I'm going to give them. I just expect them to ask me what the data type is if I don't explicitly declare it. Now you might be, yo, that's me. Come on, man. Why you got to be so gangster? Right. And it's not about being mean. It's about understanding whether you can deal with ambiguity or not. Can you ask questions and get the information that you need? If you don't ask questions, I don't have answers for you. Sorry. It is what it is, right? Because I got to know that when you're on the job, I'm not hand-holding you, right? And having to spoon feed you all the information. You got to know how to ask questions and look stuff up, okay? Ain't mean. It's just ain't nobody got time for that. You want the good money or not? You want to get paid well or not? This is what it takes. So there's a question around, let me pull this up on the Jumbotron. So isn't the area just base times height, or do we need to know the area of the volume of a liquid? No, just base times height. So we're going to keep it. So, or at least that's my assumption. That's a good question to ask is, am I just computing the area of water? And yeah, you're computing the area. I'm not sure if it's fair to call it volume, but I wouldn't get hung up on a detail like that. All right, dope. So what's next? So let's answer the questions. So now I'm looking at the constraints, and it says that that n is equal to the number of heights that we're going to receive. So we're going to have heights throughout the array. So that's good. We're going to have the next constraint. Well, actually, let me write this out on the screen so that you can see what I see. So n is equal to height dot length. That's useful. So the number of heights that we receive is going to be equal to n in this case. We're going to treat it the same. Next constraint is that 2 is less than or equal to n, which is less than or equal to 10 to the power of 5. All right. So what does that mean? That means that we're going to get that n, the number of heights that we're going to have, is at least 2 and will be as much as 10 to the power of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 100,000. Okay, so we could get 100,000 heights. Okay, so that's the kind of scale we're dealing with. That's not a lot. Definitely fits on a machine, at least not from a computing power perspective. But just know that, right? It's 100,000. Let's see. So minimum. So we know now what the minimum and maximum length of bars is going to be. That's just going to be this thing. Okay, between 2 and 100,000. Y'all check my math if I get it wrong, because I suck in math. Also, we know that the heights are going to be greater than or equal to 0. So we can have some 0 bar heights. Let me go put that somewhere. Yes, there can be 0 bar heights. So a height at any given index, so height at I, so for any index of height, it's going to be between 0 and 10 to the power of 4. So yeah, 10,000. Okay, so we could have a height that's 10,000 and all that. So this is great because that also answers the data type that we need to return. 10,000 by 10,000 gives us some number that fits in a 32-bit signed integer. I told you I'm bad at math, but I'm pretty sure that fits in a 32-bit integer. So I'm going to go with that. Yeah, 10,000 times 10,000. That just means I need to add some more zeros, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's fine. Because a 32-bit integer is what, 2 billion something or the other? I can't remember, but it should fit in the integer. Y'all check me if I'm wrong. So I know that is. Oh, but I also got to deal with the area. It's not just the height. It's like. A bar can be as tall as 10,000, but can be as wide as 100,000. So that means I need to add another 0. So I don't remember if that fits in integer. Shoot, because I'm slipping. So maybe I would just return a long to be safe. I won't be wrong if I return a long, right? I didn't mean to rhyme there, but I won't be wrong if I return a long. So I would just, for safety, return a long. I know that in LeetCode, they give you the function signature, which I'm not a super fan of. And the reason is because, I mean, they have to have it for the tool for sure. They got to give you the function signature so that you can plug it in, then they can run the automated test. But remember, your interviewer in real life isn't going to give you a function signature. You got to work that out yourself. Y'all feel me? So if I have to work out the function signature myself, LeetCode will give me, hey, here's the name of the method and here's what it's going to take and all the yada, yada, yada. In the real interview, you don't get that. So I wouldn't even look at the code for a LeetCode problem until I start looking at the implementation part. I just wouldn't look at it at all. I would ignore the code section on LeetCode or on HackerRank because it just gives too much information. Okay, y'all feel me? I want y'all to be good and prepared. Let's keep it going. Let me take this ticker off. Okay, so we have some answers. Does it fit in memory? Yes, it does fit in memory. So we're good there. The order of the bars matters. Yes, that was an observation that I made. So, okay. I think we have enough information, I think, to get into to the problem. Now, normally after I ask my questions, I would work through some examples, or I would work through examples concurrently. I talked about the fact that if I've got 10,000 bars, right, I might have a 1 unit bar on one end and a 1 unit bar on the other end. And that could very well give me the biggest area of water, right? Because that would be the area of 10,000 square units. Okay, 10,000 square units. So that's an example that I'm thinking of that is different than what was provided to me by the interviewer. That just helps me to firm up my assumptions and all that stuff. Okay, I know I'm going slow. I know, but I want y'all following with me, and I want you to feel like you're part of this thing because we're in this together. All right, so at this point, it's time to brainstorm. I got a couple of ideas. Intuitively, the first idea, now, as I'm brainstorming, a lot of times I'm looking right at an example because I want to be able to explain to an interviewer how I'm thinking about this and then put it together. So there's two solutions that come to mind immediately. The first one is super obvious. The first one is I compare every bar to every other bar, and then I calculate the area of each of those combinations. And what I'm going to do is keep some kind of a counter called maximum area. And if the area that I compute between a pair of bars is greater than the maximum area, just update it. By the time I get out of that loop, I should be able just to return that max area and be done. Okay. This is super easy to me because comparing everything to everything else in an array is like child's play stuff. You should know how to do that easy without really even thinking about it. You should be able to dream at night about that code and get it right, like compiler right. Okay. So super easy. I know that that's going to be big O of n squared. So if n is equal to the number of bars, whenever you talk about big O, you always need to define n. Okay. So when some people will tell me, oh, this is big O of n, I'll say, what is n? Oh, it's the number of bars. Cool. I got you. You always need to define n. So in this case, I'm saying that solution of comparing every bar to everything else using outer loop and an inner loop, just doing all that stuff, that's going to be a big O of n squared solution. I just know that. Okay. So that would work, I think. If I didn't have any other way of dealing with this, I would implement that solution. Matter of fact, I'm going to implement that solution anyway, just to show you what it looks like. But that's what I would do. The second solution, though, that I'm thinking of is, so now I'm thinking about some patterns that I know. I know that I'm working with an array, so I'm not really doing DFS, BFS, all that junk. So I'm just going to cross it off the list. I'm not working with the linked list, so I'm not worried about fast, slow, pointer, tortoise hair, or that pattern, or all that stuff. I do know that when I work with arrays, there's a couple of tools that I love in my arsenal. So one is memoization, throw a hash map at it to memorize things, and then just have one loop. So I don't like, and for my n squared solution, having two loops. I would want to eliminate one of those. So maybe I can cache some information in a map and compare each bar to something in the cache. I could do that. So memoization is a technique that I could use. A second technique that I could use is two pointers. And what I like about the two pointers approach is, listen, I'm just looking for two bars that encapsulate some unit of water. And the distance between the bars themselves matters. And so what I could do is have a pointer at the beginning of the array looking at the first element, and a pointer at the end of the array looking at the last element, and then just kind of move them in successively, evaluating areas that way. So like I could evaluate bar at index 0 and bar at index 8. I could evaluate bar at index 1 with bar at index 8, and then just keep going that way. And I think, let's see, what would I want to do? I would want to move the taller bar or the shorter bar. I would want to move, that's a good question. I would probably want to move the pointer with the smaller bar is what I'm thinking. Yeah, because I'd want to take advantage of the tall bar's height. That's what I'd want to do. Yeah, so notice that like the area is determined, it is in part determined by the smaller bar on the chart, right? Like just because I have this tall bar over here doesn't mean that the water goes all the way up to that tall bar. It only goes as high as the smallest bar. So I'd want to keep playing around with the small bar heights is what I'm thinking. So I'd have 2 pointers and just kind of move them back and forth until for as long as one pointer is less than the other one, I would just keep moving them in. So let me write this down real quick. So compare each bar to every other bar is my first solution. So this is my brainstorming. And then the second solution would be that I would use 2 pointers. Or I think the actual technique is called sliding window, if I'm not mistaken. So really, I'll just call it sliding window. Now, notice that I talked through these solutions, but I'm not writing a whole essay on how to do those. I'm not pseudocoding, and I'm not a fan of pseudocoding and brainstorming. On the real job, pseudocode right away, like by all means, go for it. I'm not pseudocoding in the interview because I only got 45 minutes, and I'm trying to spend all of that time talking with my interviewer and getting to the best stuff. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, hey, my man's in. Horace is here. It's so good to see his brother at Render Atlanta. He knows his stuff. He works at Google for now, but yeah, he is one of those interviewers that knows his stuff. Connect with him on GitHub. Don't bother the man, but do follow him and find out what he's about because he's one of the quality people on Twitter. But yeah, he's definitely one of those people. I'm one of those people that ask, hey, what if this doesn't fit in memory? I will pick a question for which I could ask that and then get into a thing. Remember that some companies, Google, Meta, X, whatever, Amazon, they deal in scale. So oftentimes you're working on problems where your input doesn't fit in memory. It's just a real fact of life. And that's why data structures, algorithms, and big O matters. There are other companies for which that doesn't matter. So they're not going to ask you about that, hopefully, unless they're being dumb. Okay. So that's where we're at. But yeah, thanks so much, Horace. You're 100% right. Like these people do exist. Thank you for backing me up on that because I don't want y'all to think that I'm lying through my teeth. So these are the 2 solutions that I can think of, and I want to go ahead and implement them. So let's do it. I'm going to, again, do this in JavaScript because this is the one that I want to do. Maybe I can do a version in Java too, because why not? So maybe, yeah, let's do both. Why not? So I'm going to have a function called max area, and it's going to take an array of heights. Remember, JavaScript isn't strongly typed, so I don't have to worry about the types. Yay me. And what I want to do is for let I equal 0, I less than heights dot length plus I. And then for let j equals 1, j less than heights dot length plus j plus j. What I want to do is, so thankfully I'm doing this in a doc, because back in the day I would have to do this on a whiteboard. And if I were doing this on a whiteboard, what I would do is I would make at least 1 line space in between every line of code that I handwrite on the board. Because if I forget to declare a variable, I can go and put it into that space. Y'all better thank God y'all ain't got to do whiteboard interviews, or at least not yet, because it is what it is. So it's easy for me just to go make another line break and declare my variable for max area. So I'm going to call it result because I like to do that. I'm going to initialize it to 0. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So I've got my loop set up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say area equals get area. I'm going to pass it heights, I and j. You may be asking yourself, hey, Maze, there's no such function as get area. I know that. I got to make it. But I'm making the step for it now so that I can focus on the mainline logic, and then I'll come back and implement that function later. So get off my back, y'all. Dang. Jeez. Okay, so I got the area. If the area is greater than the current result that I have, then I am going to set result equal to that area. And then I'm going to return the result. Okay, so that is the solution that I've come up with. Oh, I still need to implement the get area. So function get area. I said I was going to take heights, an I and a j. Boom, do that. Sweet. And the area is just the difference between I and j. The absolute value of I minus j or j minus I, however you want to do it. Actually, j is always going to be greater than I because of the way that I set up the loop. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that. So I'm gonna say return. I think I could do this in one line. So j minus I gives me the horizontal parameter, and then I'm going to multiply that times the smaller bar. So I'm going to say the height is math.min of the height at I and the height at j. So I need that. And then the width is going to be j minus I. And I'm just going to return height times width. And that will give me the area of water that can be stored. Yeah, that'll do it. So then that will give me the area. And then if the area, yeah. Okay, so I think I'm done for the JavaScript solution. Okay. Anybody have a complaint? Y'all want to fight me on this or what? Hopefully you don't. Let's do this in Java and see if I can also make that happen. So that was JavaScript. I'm going to, let me just put this below the coding block. Again, I like using Google Docs because it doesn't give me IntelliSense and I can just really be on it. So public int max area, I'm going to expect an int array of heights, and that's all I need for that. Int result equals 0. So again, I'm going to initialize to 0. I'm going to return the result here. And then let's make the loops. So loops in Java work a lot like they do in JavaScript. I'm going to use var I equals 0, which would be bad if this were JavaScript, but perfectly fine if it's Java. Don't find me on that, y'all. I know what I'm doing. So I lesson that. Yep. You may be asking, Anthony, why are you solving this twice in 2 different languages? It's because when I do interviews, I go hard. Matter of fact, I just spotted the bug. I want j to equal to I plus 1 because I just want to start from wherever I is. Sorry, I didn't catch that earlier. So j less than heights dot length plus plus j. Boom. Another bug. I think, yeah, I set up that loop correctly. Okay, so then same kind of deal. I'm going to this time int area, get area, heights I and j. Anthony, you used var earlier, but now you're using int. What gives? So long as the data type in Java shows either on the left side of the equal or the right side of the equal, I'm good. Okay, so in this case, get area doesn't indicate the type of the data, and I'm darn sure not going to put it in the name of the function. So it's int area equals, not var area equals get area. Okay. I'm telling you right now, if you are interviewing at one of these tech companies, like for real, they're going to be looking at every line of code that you write and every kind of decision. So like if I'm going to use var, I'm going to use it very carefully. I'm going to be prepared to explain why I'm using var and the guidance around that. Okay. Because my interviewer is going to know. And then, like I said before, if the area is greater than the result, then I'm going to update the area or update result to area and then return that. So that's the half of the Java solution. Let me do the other part. So here's the thing. I'm going to say private int get area. Why am I saying private? Because assuming that I'm in a class, my outside clients of this class don't need to know that I'm using this function called get area. They don't need to know that. That is an implementation detail that needs to be hidden from the outside world. I'm going to make it private. This is an opportunity for me to show that I know the difference between public and private, y'all. Okay, we're going to take int array. I'm just going to copy paste because I don't feel like typing all day. Int array heights and int I, int j is what I'm taking there. And then let me just copy the rest of this code because this is just what it is. I'm not going to worry about the fact that I haven't imported the namespaces stuff. Normally, interviewers don't really care about that. If I needed to do that for Java, I would just do, import java.util.all and what's the other one? Import java.lang.all. I'm hard pressed to think that somebody would want you to write like the actual import statements because you don't really need that. If you know how to write this code, you know what the tools are, that's generally good enough in my experience. So that's what I'm going for. Again, this is going to be integer, and this is going to be integer, and then I'm going to return height times width. I'm not sure if math min returns integer or not, but that's what I'm going to cast it to. Okay, so those are the two solutions, one in JavaScript, one in Java. Let's see if this actually works. I have a feeling that it's not going to. Okay, I'm going to actually expose the LeetCode problem now because I've got a solution here, and I am going to switch over to Java. Man, this screen is so small. JavaScript. Yep, here we go. And I'm just going to, yeah, see, they give me a function signature. Cool. So I'm going to paste this. Oh, gosh, terrible. Let's do this. And then I'm going to remove, let me blow this up some so y'all can see it. Yeah, there we go. Look at me, LeetCoding live. Hey, man. I can do that. Now they have an array called heights. I'm just going to rename this like it's whatever. It should still work. Let me give this code a once over to make sure that I'm doing the stuff that I want to do. I equals 0. Yep. J equals I plus 1. Yes, because I don't need to do from the beginning of the array again. J plus I there, plus J there. Okay, get the areas. Sweet. So J will always be greater than I. Got it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think this should work. So I'm going to run this. For a real interview, I'm probably not going to be able to run the code. For a real interview, I'm probably not going to get that. But it is what it is. And look at that. I got the test cases to pass immediately. Hey, that's dope. That doesn't always happen. And I didn't copy that from some doc for y'all haters out there. I don't feed the trolls, but still. So can I submit this? Okay. I figured this was going to happen. Time limit exceeded. What does that mean? What it means is that LeetCode is looking for me to solve the problem within a certain time constraint. And I did not fulfill that, okay? Because I got a lot of code in here, okay? So yeah, I need to find a more optimal solution. But hey, good thing, because I know a better solution, or at least I propose a better solution. Cool, so let's go back to the drawing board. Let me get this LeetCode thing off of here because I don't want to do that. Y'all having fun still? Like y'all rock? I mean, we are a bunch of nerds. We're watching me doing LeetCode live on 3 platforms. So yeah, we are some nerds. But I'm hopeful that this is helping you out and that you are benefiting. So if you think that other people can benefit from this, why haven't you reshared this yet? Why haven't you retweeted or put this on LinkedIn or something? Right? Like, twin, come on now. Really? So I'm telling, man, there's something I want to say, but I can't say it because I've got a reputation to uphold. I have a reputation to uphold. I can't just say everything that's in my head. Give a brother a break. I thought we were supposed to be supporting each other. Okay. Yeah, I don't see, y'all won't be satisfied until I share all my screens. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the sliding window approach. So again, for the sliding window approach, instead of having 2 loops comparing everything to everything else, which I don't want, what I'd rather do is have a right index and a left index that just kind of collapses in. Okay. I know, I got you, twin. You know, this is how we do it. You know, this is, I love when I'm interviewing folks. You know, I try to be lighthearted with them because it's a stressful situation. I don't want you feeling tough. I want you to feel relaxed. It's my job as an interviewer to make you feel as comfortable as possible so that I'm seeing your best performance. If I'm giving you a hard time, making you uncomfortable, stressing you out, that's not going to be helpful to you. It's not going to be helpful to me assessing your performance. So, but unfortunately, y'all not going to get me as an interviewer. That's too bad. Should have tried to join Google while you had the chance, while I was still there, while you had the chance to get me. Okay, let me stop fooling around. Sliding window. Let's talk about sliding window and how to make that happen. So one of the other things I want you to know is that I do not like changing my code in place. Don't like to do it. I think it's a bad idea, because not only do you have to delete code now, but you also have to you have to add the right code and you have to delete the right code. And that's two things that I don't want to. I don't want to have to be doing those two things. I would rather start over from scratch. And most times, when you understand a solution well enough, you don't have to worry about writing it from scratch. Code faster. If you code faster, you ain't got to worry about it. So for me, I'm going to start with a new clean slate and implement the what I hope will be the optimal solution. Okay, so let's go make a coding block. There it is, and I'm just gonna clear this out because I want my most recent stuff to stay at the top. Again, I talked about Big O because Big O is important to talk about, because I need to have a good sense of that. Notice that LeetCode doesn't tell you the Big O of your solution. HackerRank doesn't tell you the Big O of your solution. You got to know the Big O if you're not going and reading the description for a problem. So for me, I always try to make sure that I'm assessing Big O and that I understand it, so that I can nimbly navigate through each solution. Okay, cool. Let's talk about sliding window and get that done. So I'm gonna again do another function called max area. I'll just call it 2, and we'll have a height array. Again, I know that I'm gonna have a result thing that I'm gonna initialize to 0, and then I'm gonna return that result. I like to declare my result variable and then return at the end, just to make sure that I don't forget to do it. I can't tell you how many candidates forget to return the result from their function. I don't want to do that. All right, so I got this here, and what I'm going to do is declare a left and right pointer. So left is going to equal 0, and right is going to equal the height, the length of my array minus 1. Okay, 0 in there. Yeah, Isaac. I did see that there's a feature for computing the Big O notation. They're probably using AI to do it, which is great. That's cool. Really nice to do that. Again, when these tools add these bells and whistles, be aware that you're probably not getting those bells and whistles in the real interview. Please believe it. Okay? You're not getting these bells and whistles in the interview. You're going to have to know this stuff before you get into the room. So don't get caught up relying on these crutches and then get caught off guard when you do the real interview. Don't do that. Okay. What I want you to do is to know your stuff. Okay. I'm starting to get tired. Okay, so I have my left pointer, I have my right pointer, and what I'm imagining is that while the left pointer is left to the right one, I should keep this loop going. That's the deal. Okay. Again, notice that I am not pseudocoding. I know what I want to do, and I know how to do it in code. I'm just going to write the code out. So what I would do here is I'm going to get the area just like I did before. And again, I'm going to const this because I'm not going to change this variable. I don't want to change this variable accidentally, so I'm going to declare this const. I did hear that there was the whole issue and drama around let and const and all this other kind of stuff. I guess I'm old school. I want everything to be const unless it needs to be a let. That's what I follow. So I want my variables to largely be immutable. I know that immutable means different things to different people. I get that. I'm just saying I don't want to reassign the variable accidentally. So to prevent variable reassignment, I'm going to use const when I can and use let for everything else. I know that I'm going to update the result. I know that I'm going to update the left and right pointer. So that's let. Const, I'm not going to update the area within the scope. I'm just going to compute it one time and then rock with it. So again, this time I'm passing left and right, doing that. And I'm going to borrow that get area function. Hey, great thing I get to type out the code. Cool. So I got that. And what I want to do now is, what I want to do. Same thing as before. If the area is greater than the result area that I have so far, then I am going to set result equal to area. One of the other reasons why I like coding in Google Docs is because it does not even do auto indentation for you, right? It's do not use Google Docs is a real coding tool to get stuff done. Don't do it. Do not do it. Using it for interviews, however, great. Notice that my coding style is consistent, right? I have a coding style that I adhere to, and I'm consistent when I'm writing my code. By the time you look at my code and I'm done, it's gonna look like I made it in an IDE, because that's how well I know JavaScript, that's how well I know Java, and that's how well I want you to know it, so that you won't be caught slipping. Y'all feel me? Okay, so yeah, if I'm, typing out every single space, that's how I'm doing it. Okay, and I really should be more of a tab guy for accessibility, but I really like spaces. So anyway, if the area is greater than result, then result equals area. So that part of the algorithm stays the same, but now what I need to do is to figure out how to squeeze in. So I think what I said earlier is, if the height of my right bar is less than, I'll say, or equal to the height of the left bar, then I'm going to move the right pointer. I'm going to move the right pointer to the left. Yes, by minus. So if the right pointer is at index 8, I now want it to go to index 7. Again, I'm going to keep the example in mind. My right pointer's over here. My left pointer's over here. So I'm going to decrement right and increase left. Okay. Else I'm just going to increment the left pointer. Okay. So what this allows me to do is, instead of having two loops, one nested inside of the other, I just get to have one loop. That's a while loop, and then put it all together like that. Okay. I feel good about this. Let me take a look at this again. While left is less than right. Yes, that's what I want. I want left initialized to 0, right initialized to bar to the length -1. Looks good to me. I'm going to have the same get area. So I know that one works. Don't have to worry about that. If area is greater than result, yep, I'm cool. And then, yep, if the bar on the right is smaller than the one on the left, then decrement right, otherwise increase the left. So I think I got this down. I think I'm good to go. And let's see. Now, one of the reasons why I'm talking out to you what the code is doing as I walk through it, the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm showing my interviewer that I'm checking my code. I might know pretty quickly that my code is right and that it's doing what it's supposed to do, but my interviewer may not understand how I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to be very explicit about talking out loud. I want the interviewer to, in their notes, yes, Anthony took time to check the code. All right, let's go back to the code. So that was my first solution. I am now going to put in this other one and hope that's better. So again, my claim is that this solution is going to be big O of n, which is better than big O of n squared, should make a big difference. So let's take all this code and copy it in LeetCode and see how I did. Y'all, if I get both of these submitted correctly the first time without having to like do a code change, I'm gonna freak for real, because it's gonna be crazy. That will have never happened before. Maybe I should bring y'all on all my interviews. I'll be like, not only do I want to interview with you, I want to live stream it. Can we do that? I wish they would. Okay, cool. This is looking pretty good to me. Let me run. And holy crap, the test cases pass. So if I submit, what's gonna happen? Y'all, look at that. It works. Huh. Still got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's it. Oh, let's see. Analyze complexity. Let's press the button and see what it says. Linear time. Yes, you are right, AI. Appreciate you. Yeah, not too hard. I didn't need AI to tell me that. I did it fast. See, I figured out the time complexity much faster than the computer did. Easy. KG, what's going on, man? What is going on? What is this you pasted over here? I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that emoji is, but yeah, I appreciate you. Y'all follow KG Codes. He's dope. Actually, we did a coding interview problem together at Render. I just asked him a coding question live. I was like, you want to do a coding question, a LeetCode question with me? He's just like, yeah, I'm game. I thought that was great because I figured everybody was going to tell me no. Like, fool, what did you doing? Oh, it's a race car. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, right. Cool. Y'all know I'm blind. Cool. That was cool. that was fun. I wish that we had more time to do another problem, but I wanted to progress through this slowly to make sure that y'all were following me and that you were understanding where this is going. Hopefully you learned something. I really do. I know that some of y'all are getting ready for some big interviews, so that's dope. I want you to be ready. I want you to tap into the resources that I have, and I want you to feel like you've got somebody in your corner helping you along. I'm dropping real knowledge. Like, you know, I don't do, we'll talk about that another time, but I'm not doing as much one-on-one coaching anymore. I'm trying to make sure that I'm working with organizations and nonprofits. I was very grateful to recently sign a deal with ColorWave to do some interview prep for folks. So if you're in the ColorWave program, congratulations. We're going to be dapping it up and talking a little bit more. I'm also working with Brilliant Black Minds and some other programs, but they're going to help me scale. Make sure to check out the stuff that I'm putting out on TikTok. So I've got a render recap on TikTok where I talked about what that whole experience was like. I got the chance to visit Intuit headquarters. That was fantastic. Go check that out on TikTok. So I want to produce more videos. I want to produce more of this kind of content. I want to code in front of you. I want to make some mistakes and make sure that you're ready to go. Okay. That's my goal. Vashti, yeah, I definitely want you to, or it could be Vashti. I'm sorry if I want to get your name right, but I am definitely rooting for you. Reach out to me if there's a way that I can be helpful for sure. Connect with me on LinkedIn and make sure to tap into the resources that I've listed at the top of the coding doc. All right. We're only going to do one problem because I don't think I've got time to race through. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe y'all let me know. You want to ask some questions, get some interview tips, or do you want to go through just one more question? It's up to you. Y'all let me know. I don't really care either way. I'm just trying to be helpful to the community. So if you want to leave a message with some interview question, or sorry, with some you know, where you want me to leave some advice, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, we can jump into another coding question. I'll just zoom through that one like a race car. ColorWave is ColorWave is a nonprofit that is supporting folks who are interested in getting into AI and tech in general. And so ColorWave is super dope, and grateful to be a part of their journey, helping them along. Shout out to the folks from Code Differently. Code Differently is a boot camp that I've been working with. I've been teaching software engineering there, as well as doing some interview prep. So a couple of my students are here causing trouble and trolling, which I certainly appreciate. And yeah. Jose, you want to know what the runtime complexity analysis, if it doesn't get, yeah. So where's that submission? That the time limit exceeded one. And will it give me the big O? It might be too late for me to do. Yeah, I don't think it let me do the what's his face for this. Let's see if I can add notes, but can I let me just copy the code and try to submit it again. That's all I'll do. I'm going to copy the code out, try to submit it again, and then see if it gives me the button. So if I submit, I know that this isn't going to work. Yep. And does it give me a big O? It does not give me a big O prompt here. So it won't tell me that it's big O of n squared, even though I know that it's big O of n squared. So yeah. Thanks for asking that. I was curious about that. Okay. Yeah, you can see that worked on this problem before. I think I was trying to do some weird stuff. And that's one of the things that I like to do when I'm going through LeetCode questions is I will try to implement a solution like 5, 6, 7 times. I like to do that. And the reason why I do that is because I like to try different kinds of solutions, whether they're optimal or not. I will play with different language features. I would try it in different languages. You saw me writing in Java and JavaScript. I would try maybe in Python to see if I can get that to work. I like really getting a lot of mileage out of these interview questions so that I can really stretch myself and demonstrate mastery. And for me, mastery is a very specific thing. It's something I take very seriously. I want to master things. I want to make things look, and then that takes practice and rigor. Do some interviewers allow for Googling to look up syntax? For sure. Some will let you look up syntax. I think there's some hacker problems that you do that, they let you look up syntax and stuff. When I was working at Google, I would not let you look up syntax. What I would say is, hey, just do your best, make your best guess as what you think it is, and then and then go with that. So that's my preference is, hey, most people don't remember how to generate a random number off the dome piece. That's fine. Just make your best guess because I can learn something from that. I'm not going to ding you because you don't know how to generate a random number, but I do want you to be somewhat close. I want you to be in the area. Okay. If you say, oh yeah, I bet there's a Java API that says generate a random number, I'm going to know that you haven't probably worked with it before because that generally doesn't make sense. I'm so glad that you spent the evening with me, Shanice. That's dope. I want to do more stuff like this that's going to be helpful to you and that's going to help you to get ready and just prepare well for your coding interviews. I want you to take the information that I'm giving you seriously and put it to work, because a lot of this is, number one, just years of experience, 2, rigor, spending hours a day practicing, but 3, being very focused on my strategy. Again, it took time for me to learn that I should be asking questions and documenting those questions and thinking through my constraints. It took a long time for me to realize that I should brainstorm multiple solutions before I jump in. Because honestly, for this problem that we walked through today, I probably would not start with this compare each bar to every other bar solution. I wouldn't do that in real life because the sliding window solution is so easy. I know that I can knock that out, no problem. So I wouldn't even bother with this one, with the compare each bar to every other bar. I would just do the sliding window. But what I would do is say, hey, so interviewer, I have 2 ways of solving this problem. I would like to pursue option 2. Are you on board with that? If they say no, that means that maybe there's something I haven't thought about in solution 2 that would get me into trouble and the interviewer is trying to save my life. So I would just do option 1. But when I'm practicing by myself, I'm going to implement both solutions. But for a real interview, I would just do the second one because I'm trying to save myself time. Okay. So that's all that. Horace, you said that you use CoderPad. I have heard of CoderPad. I don't know if it gives you a lot of cool stuff or not. But okay, cool. So you can run your solutions on CoderPad. That's dope. Yeah. Look, don't just take my word for it. If you are doing interviews and the company tells you that you're going to be using a specific tool, basically live in that tool. Make sure that you're familiar with its ins and outs, that you know what its capabilities are, so that you can feel comfortable on your interview day. Okay. Jose, you asked, would the interviewer be okay if the solution didn't work, but the thought process was sound? Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times in an interview, we will have minor syntax errors, minor glitches. The syntax errors aren't a problem, the logic errors are. Okay, so like when we start getting into off by 1, it's like, okay, you didn't really test your code well enough. If you didn't declare a variable, like, okay, that can be forgivable. But if it's something like, you say you got 8 years of industry experience and you're missing semicolons all over the place, I'm going to know something's wrong. So I think I'll tend to be more forgiving with juniors, less forgiving with folks who are senior and who at least claim to have been working in that language. Looking at the resume is important. So the resume will tell me like, hey, this person has been solidly doing this language for a certain number of years. I will have certain expectations. I didn't always look at resumes when I was doing coding interviews because I can learn a lot just from the discussion. But sometimes, we can factor in the interview, the resume experience to figure out like, okay, is it reasonable that you missed some things, or is it largely inexcusable? Okay. I hope that answers your question. Okay. How often is it for an interviewer to ask for a more efficient solution? Extremely common. You should always assume that your interviewer wants to see the most optimal solution, period. Always assume that they want to see the optimal. There's really two things they're looking for. Number one, they're just looking for a solution, something that works. Then the second thing they're looking for is the most optimal solution. Okay. I know that Amazon is super big on like, you just need to get a solution that works. That's the first thing. And then once you have something that works, go and go for the more optimal thing. And here's the thing. I'm a big fan of like, just implement the brute force simple solution. And then the interviewer will let me talk through the more optimal solution. And I love that because I'm not writing code all the time. The discussion is way more important. If I can prove that I know how to code just in the brute force simple solution, the interviewer knows that I can do the more advanced one more likely than not, especially depending upon my confidence in how I talk and all that stuff. If the interviewer says, okay, let me see the code for it, it's because they feel like they need to see that you can actually write the code for it. But in like half of the interviews that I did for Big G, I didn't have to write out the fully working final solution. You know, it ran out of time for writing some of that code too. And matter of fact, the interviewer is just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you don't have to finish that. Like, it's cool. So just know that when you are writing code well and confidently and competently, that buys you a lot of goodwill to use in the second half of your interview. Okay. So build up that goodwill first by doing the right things, having the right behaviors, and then you can cash those chips later on with the interviewer who just like, okay, no, I feel like you're strong enough that we don't have to write any more code. You've already proved that you can do that. Now I just need to know that you can think and take on more challenging constraints for the problem. And yeah, KG says there's a mix of companies and tools that they use. So I just assume bare minimum, Notepad. I know how to write code on the back of a napkin if I need to. Okay, so if I can write code on the back of a napkin that is well-formed and syntactically and logically correct, it doesn't matter what else you give me after that. Y'all feel me? So I'm always assuming that people are out to get me because I'm a black man in tech. So I don't want there to be any question that I can get the job done. Okay, you want me to write code on the moon, on the top of a volcano? No problem. I got you. Okay, like for real. But that's because I studied real hard to make sure that I wouldn't be impacted by people's biases. Man, this is fun. I'm really enjoying this. And I thank y'all for tuning in with me for sure. I think I got time to do one more problem, but before I do that, Nicholas, you asked, do you have any advice for a computer science major who took C++1 and is about to take C++2? Yeah, my advice is go build stuff in C++ outside of the classroom. That's my advice. The number one mistake that y'all students make is that you rely on your classroom education and think that that's going to impress somebody. It does not. What impresses me is what you're able to build based upon what you've learned. So go build an app, go build a game, put that together, put that on GitHub. That's how you take advantage of that education and really show that you've got your stuff. I'm trying to preach to somebody. You ain't got to listen to me, but I'm just trying to tell you what it is. Okay. I don't care the classes that you took. I don't care what grades you got. Can you build and make me money, save time, or drive efficiency? That's what I care about. Because I'm not in the business of getting good grades. I'm in the business of making money. Y'all feel me? That's coming from a 2.87 GPA graduate. What's the best way to solve for separating problem solving from thinking about the code at the same time? Yeah, so this is something that you have to build with discipline, right? Some of you, when you go into a coding interview, you start coding, and that is absolutely the worst thing that you can do. Almost every single time that someone has started an interview by writing code, they failed that interview. Like pretty much at least 90% of the time, folks who have started with code have failed the interview outright because they didn't ask the questions that they should have in order to get more details about the problem. So So that means, what are you going to do? That means you're going to engage in the problem solving process. When you go to the article that I linked in the coding doc. So if you don't know what the coding doc is, anthonydmays.com/links. The very top says live coding doc. Click that and you will get to this doc with the resources. So just to show you that it works, here we go. Here's the website. Live coding doc is the option that you would click on. That will take you into this guy. And you want to click that first article that says how to LeetCode correctly. In this article, I talk about the process that you should follow for thinking about problem solving in all the different steps. Okay. So I specifically call out another article that I wrote called The 6 Steps. And in the 6 steps, which I preach constantly, this is on my blog at anthonydmays.com/blog. Repeat the question, check assumptions, use real examples, brainstorm, and think about the different ways you can solve the problem. You are only writing code in step 5. That's it. You're only writing code in step 5. Okay. So when you're practicing, be hands off keyboard unless you're taking notes until you get to step 5. Then you write code. So for me, I just know that I'm not going to write any curly braces until I get to step 5. And I'm practicing all these other things because these other things are super important. By the time that I do steps 1 through 4, the coding is easy. I ain't got to think about that. Okay, I can just write out code in a couple of minutes. So that's how I separate between the problem solving part and thinking about the code, because I've practiced coding so much and so well that I don't think about where the curly braces go. I don't think about where the semicolons go. I mean, y'all saw it for yourself. Hopefully, I wasn't cheating. That's the way I write code. It just flows. I can think about it and I can write the code, no problem. So if you know code that well, you don't have to think. You just take that off the table. You're not spending time thinking about the curly braces at all. You're just thinking about the problem and focusing on the problem solving process. So that's what I would do. Advice for learning a particular language. Any good books? I don't know. I'm not always a big books guy. I learn by actually using the language. So I go pick some problem that I've already solved before, a to-do app, a guest book, something like that, and just implement it in a new language. And by the time I finish that, I know how to work in that language, especially like doing CRUD. Did I get good grades for my computer science courses? For some of them I did, but like I said, I graduated with a 2.87 GPA. That's mostly because of the math classes. I sucked at those. I did terrible in my compilers class, and I took algorithms three times. So I am by no means a natural genius when it comes to this stuff. I was the worst, but I studied and worked hard. Here's the thing. You might be smarter than me, right? Like maybe you are more naturally gifted at intellect, but you're not going to outwork me. Not going to outwork me, right? Like you might be able to do arithmetic faster than me, but give me enough time. Mess around and find out. Okay. So my whole thing is I grew up hungry, not like hungry for food, but I grew up scrappy from the hood, and hard work beats talent every time. Okay. Yeah, let's do another problem real quick. So this is a simple one. I'll just kind of go through it. Space Explorer ship has crashed on Mars, and they are sending a series. Matter of fact, I'll just link the hacker rank, and then y'all can look at it with me because whatever. So here is the problem. Ship has crashed on Mars. They send a series of SOS messages to Earth for help. Love the context. Love a good story. Don't care about the story though, because the story has nothing to do with me writing code. It's just context. Letters in some of the SOS messages are altered by cosmic radiation during transmission. Given the signal received by Earth as a string, S, determine how many letters of the SOS message have been changed by radiation. So the idea is that we're getting messages sent from Mars as SOSs, and at some point, some of the letters get thrown out of whack because of radiation. Like this is a real computer science problem. This is a real challenge. Learning how to fix data that has been corrupted in transit. if you're implementing or working with protocols, if you know anything about the OSI layers in the stack, maybe you're working for a company that has to deal with that kind of stuff. Maybe you're working with like low tolerance environments where like the data has to be right, or at least really, really close to right. So you're mitigating issues like that. Maybe you're working for a streaming software company where you've got to like figure out what bits might have been dropped and how you might improve the quality by fixing it. So like the spirit of this problem is very realistic for computer science, depending upon the stuff that you want to do. So anyway, you're getting SOS messages. You're going to figure out what's messed up. So for example, there's SOS TOT. So this really should be two SOSs, SOS SOS, but we can see that two letters were changed, the T and the T. Therefore, we should return 2 for this function. Okay. So complete the Mars exploration function. So string is the string as received on Earth, and then I is the number of letters changed during transmission. Okay. So at this point, this is so simple to me. So I'm going to tell you how I'm thinking about it. What I'm thinking about, maybe I should do it in C. Nah, let's not do that. Maybe C#? How about that? It's been a while since I've done C#. So let me expand this open. Dude, how is this working? That's full screen. Kind of janky. I don't have a lot of room or whatever. Yeah, let's do this in C#. So there's supposed to be a function that I'm supposed to fill in called Mars exploration. There it is. Okay, so here's the function body that I need. We're going to do this in C#. I hate that opening curly braces have their own line in C#. I just do not like that part of the style at all. Anyway, so here's my basic thinking. I need to check whether I need to check the words SOS as I go through. I should do Java. Let me be safe because I don't remember all the stuff from whatever. Let's do Java. Java. 15 is what I want. There we go. Oh, sorry, I chickened out, y'all. I didn't want to mess around. If I were doing this by myself, I would. So let me stop talking. So first things first, I want a char array var SOS equals. So I'm going to make a char array for S O O, and it's all lowercase, isn't it? So S, or is it uppercase? I don't remember. Whatever. Let's just assume it's all uppercase. The examples are all uppercase. I'm going to assume that it's uppercase. So I've got SOS, and what I want to do is what I want to do next. I want to march through the string for char C and s.to char array. That's it, right, in Java? I'm totally not explaining anything that I'm doing right now, and I'm so sorry. Result is some number that determines how many characters have been changed. So we got all that. But what I want to do is I want to figure out what the letter should be based upon where we are in the array. Matter of fact, I don't want to use a for each because I care about the index of each letter. So var I equals 0, I less than s.length plus I. That's what I want. And length is a function on the string. Okay, cool. So what I want to do is the expected character is going to be I mod 3 because SOS is 3 characters. So at 0 mod 3 is 0, 1 mod 3 is 1, 2 mod 3 is 2, 3 mod 3 gets me back to 0 because we're starting to. Okay, so we're going to mod the index with 3. So that will tell me where to index into the SOS message. Technically this is a static, but whatever. Just do this. I know it's not a static, but I'm not going to change it. Whatever. There's probably a language feature for it, but I don't care. So SOS, and then I'm going to index into that array, and that's going to tell me the expected character that I should have. And if the character at I is not equal to what I expect, then I'm going to increment the result counter, because that means that I found a non-matching character. That looks good to me. SOS, yep, they got that. I think that's how I declare a static array in Java. There's a result, boom, boom, boom. Yep, that's the character that I expect. And if the character is not a, yep, I put an L there instead of a semicolon. That looks good to me. Let me run it. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. I'm gonna run the code and y'all, come on. I'm just having a good day. It's because of y'all. I think maybe it's just because I operate a little bit better under pressure. I totally did not expect to get that right on the first. No. Nah. This is just the test. Oh no, I said I passed it. Never mind. Okay. Never mind. I just passed it. Take that, University of California, Irvine. Yeah. 2.87 GPA, took algorithms class 3 times, y'all. No, but for real, this is this is a pretty simple problem. It's not terribly difficult. Hopefully you were able to follow along and understand what I did and why I did it that way. Are there some other solutions? Yeah, another solution that I could use is I could build 3 loops. Hang with me now. Or I could loop through the array 3 indices at a time. So I could skip through the array in 3s and just check whether index I is S, index I plus 1 is O, and then whether index I plus 2 is S. Let's get wild. So I'm going to change this so that I equals I plus 3. And I know what I said about updating my existing code, but I'm wilding right now. I'm taking a victory lap. So in this case, I'm going to say if S char at I is not equal to S, then I'm going to result plus plus. I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to copy that code 3 times, just like this. The second one's going to be O, the I plus 1, and the I plus 2. Yeah, let's do that because that's crazy. The time complexity is still linear time. It's still linear time. Okay, still linear time. So there's nothing to worry about there. I might do this just to mess with the interviewer. So this is O. Just make sure that's O. Yep, cool. And then I don't know why I keep pressing 0. It's because they're so close. All right, I'm gonna run this and see what happens. Yes. I like this solution even better. I'm having so much fun. This is ridiculous. Okay, I'm gonna have to get off this stream. Because at this point I'm just clowning around. Okay, y'all, I appreciate you for sure. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this brought some little bit of joy to your life, because this is a thing. You know, I'll tell you what. If you worked on these problems, I want you to reach out to me at anthonydmays.com/contact. Okay, listen very carefully. If you tackle these problems with me and you actually were going through this, I want you to contact me at anthonydmays.com/contact. You ain't got to put your phone number or anything like that. I want you to paste the code in that you wrote. Okay, paste the code in, send it to me. I will take 3 winners and give you my free course, or give you my course, Mastering Technical Interviews, for free. The 3-hour course that talks about how to prepare for coding interviews and all that stuff. My boy Lawrence Lockhart is on there. My man Scott Handsome is on there. Art Developer is on there. Portia Kibble-Smith is on there. Tanika Askew is on there. Like, I brought the big guns, poured so much of my heart and love into that course, I want to offer it to 3 people for free. So if you want that, I want you to get in touch with me at anthonydmays.com/contact. Put in the code that you worked with. Doesn't have to work. I just want to see that you tried. Reach out to me, and I will pick 3 folks randomly, and you can put hands on the course. How's that sound? All right. If this was helpful, hey, my homeboy Patrick, my former coworker at Google, is in the house. What's going on, Patrick? Y'all, this dude is smart, like for real. He's one of the people that I would talk to and lean on for help on the job. I always loved Patrick. I don't know if you know this, but I would spy on your code just to see how you were doing stuff, so I could learn a thing or two about how to do it big in C++ and in Java. So Patrick Ridge, everybody on YouTube, got to shout my man's out. I still play with the old team. Well, I don't play as much anymore, but we do Wordle together, and I love that. The most important part about working in big tech is the network that you build. Not the code that I wrote, not the projects that I worked on. That was all cool, but that was money that was to make big G money, right? Like, that's cool. And they worked perfectly fine without me working on those projects. But for me, it was more important for me to make those lasting human connections that I could take with me after Big G. And certainly that has been so helpful to my career and all that stuff. Happy Father's Day, man. Happy Father's Day. I love that for you. Congratulations. But yeah, that's what I'm about. I can't remember what I was saying. I'm getting tired. Look, I appreciate y'all. I want to do some more of these. I want to tackle some more problems. Maybe we'll get into some LeetCode mediums or something like that. But yeah, I hope that you learned a lot. Hope that you took something from this. I'm hoping that maybe I can take clips of this and put it out somewhere for y'all to enjoy, so that you can review this and be helped along. But y'all, man, this is a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. I love coding. I love problem solving. And so doing interview prep for me is an enjoyable experience, because I understand that at the end of the day, it's about bringing solutions to problems. That excites me. I love having mastery in my craft, and that's what's up. And I think that's part of the reason why I've been able to get as far as I've gotten. Look, I do this to get paid, for sure, 100%, right? Like, I am definitely in it in part for the money. But as part of that goal, I have found a great appreciation for what I do, and that has enabled me to enjoy what I do, in the goal of making money to care for my family and do some of the other things that I want to do. And so I encourage you to shepherd within yourself a love and appreciation for what you do. And if you don't love it, it's okay to find something else that you love, or that you can grow to love. Because I grew to love programming. I grew to love software engineering. I grew to love algorithms, data structures, and Big O, and using those tools on the job. I did not wake up finding that to be a passion of mine. Okay? I've got things that were passions that I didn't necessarily pursue because it wasn't practical for me at the time. I love playing the keyboard, the musical keyboard. That's what I would have considered my passion. If I would have poured all my time and attention to that, I would have loved it. Maybe I would have been successful, even more successful. I don't know. I mean, the life of a musician is very chaotic and difficult. But for me, doing it in code was better. Y'all follow me on all the things. I'm Anthony D. Mays. Anthony D. Mays on Twitter, TikTok, IG, LinkedIn. Wherever you're at, I'm probably there as Anthony D. Mays. I'd appreciate a follow. I'd appreciate a share. Let me know how I can support you all. And stay tuned, because when I hit 10,000 on Twitter, I guess we're going to party. And I'm going to figure out a way to deliver value for you all. So maybe we'll do another one of these sessions. Maybe I'll have some special guests come through, and we'll all talk about some things that can help you out and answer questions. So if y'all have ideas about how I can celebrate 10K followers on Twitter, y'all let me know. Other than that, I'm going to go back to doing my thing, living my life, and just trying to make life better for y'all. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Kareem, for tuning in. I love spending the time with you. Thank you for the insightful questions. Thank you, LinkedIn user, for spending time with me. I know that there's a few folks who probably were tuning in anonymously. I'm all with that. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Kev. So many good people. Jose, KG. Y'all should be following KG for sure. Alfonso, I see you. I appreciate you. Horace, man, I appreciate the love. You did not have to spend your Thursday night. You already know all this stuff, but I appreciate the support, brother, and all that. Okay, I'm about to start rambling. Y'all have a wonderful evening. I don't know. I guess I'll count us out. I'm gonna count us out because that's what I do on my when I'm running spaces on Twitter. And if you wonder why I keep calling it Twitter, it's because that's what it is until it ain't no more. I ain't talking about I'm on X. I'm not trying to sound like I'm on drugs. I'm not on drugs. I'm on Twitter. Almost as bad, but less harmful on the body so far. Again, if you want to check out the resources that I have for you, I'll give you one more chance to copy this link, anthonydemays.com/links. You might want to bookmark it because I do try to update it and make sure that I'm hooking y'all up with dope resources. I'm not on the Tanika Askew level, but hey, a brother can hope and a brother can try. So maybe one day I will get there. But for now, if you want to get back to this doc, anthonydemays.com/links. I'll leave this up for a while until I feel like taking it down. And yeah, all good. All right, y'all. Peace, love, and y'all keep it classy. Work hard, and you'll get there. All right, let me count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, y'all. Peace.